Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Katie Chakowski, and I'm a Special Collections Librarian at the Portsmouth Public Library in New Hampshire. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an Asian American woman with straight black hair. I'm wearing a bright red scarf with a leopardish animal print on it and a black sweater. And I'm here in my office at the library with lots of clutter around me, as you can see. And I'd like to begin tonight with our land acknowledgement.
Got it.
The city of Portsmouth is on the homelands of the Abenaki people who have ongoing cultural and spiritual connections to this area. According to tribal oral tradition, Abenaki people have lived in the place now called New Hampshire for more than 12,000 years, since before tribal memory. The Abenaki are part of a larger group of indigenous people who call themselves Wabanaki, or People of the Dawn, and form one of many communities connected by a common language family. Here at the Portsmouth Public Library, we are committed to acknowledging and honoring the human history tied to this land. So tonight's event will last until 8:30, and we plan to be respectful of your time. We have turned on subtitles for this event, and you can toggle those off if you prefer not to see them. You just have to click the hide subtitle, which is an option at the bottom of the Zoom window. We are recording tonight's event, and that video will be available on our YouTube channel in just a few days. And you're welcome to leave your video on, or you can turn it off, but we just ask that you stay quiet or mute yourself during Abby's talk. And if you have any questions during the talk, you can put those in the chat, or you can save them until the end and ask them out loud. We have a couple upcoming programs that I want to tell you about before we begin. And the first is happening this Sunday, February 20th from 2 to 4 p.m. on Zoom. We'll be hosting genealogist and cultural anthropologist Teresa Vega. She'll tell us the story of Hangru, which is a long-lost community in Greenwich, Connecticut that was inhabited by Native and African American people. Teresa's case study will teach us about the early Black presence in New England and the historical significance of African American cemeteries. And again, that is this Sunday, and I'll share the link in the chat where you can register. And then on Tuesday, February 22nd, we'll be hosting Sandra Rux, formerly of the Warner House, Wentworth Gardner and Lear Houses, and the Portsmouth Athenaeum. And she will be joining us on Zoom from 7 to 8:30 p.m. for a local history talk, where she will tell us the story of the demolished Lieutenant Governor Wentworth House. And she will do that by examining the lives of 5 women who were all named Sarah who occupied that house. And again, that's on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday on Zoom. And again, the link will be in the chat. And we love hearing from you about what you'd like to see at the library. So I'll share an online event feedback form. And if you fill it out, you'll help the library and you'll be entered to win a library book bag. So let's see. Thank you all again for joining us tonight. I am personally really excited to be here and hosting this event. I looked up Abby's Facebook page before tonight's event, and the first words I saw on there were reduce overwhelm, which is always my personal goal and something I struggle with. So especially when it comes to cleaning and organizing. So I'm really looking forward to Abby's presentation. So let me introduce her to you. Abbe Hardiman has had a fun and varied life in business, from Walt Disney World to biotechnology to writing. She has extensive knowledge and experience with business administration and is working towards certification as a professional organizer through the National Association of Professional Organizers. Abby is a very creative, driven, and passionate person who excels at finding ways to make life more simple and successful. It brings her joy to help others make their lives more organized, happier, and less stressful. So with that, Abby, I will turn it over to you.
Yay, thank you so much. It sounds so funny to hear somebody talking about all those nice things about me that I wrote. Thank you guys all so much for being here. Like Katie said, my name is Abby, and I've been a professional organizer for the last 6 years. I worked in corporate America for quite a long time, and you know, I really always wanted to be my own boss, and always kind of an entrepreneur at heart. So, you know, with the yard sales I used to throw in my bedroom when I was a kid for my friends to come shop at. So always knew I wanted to run my own business. So I thought, you know, what do I love to do and what am I good at? And organization was it. So for the last 6 years, I've been helping families and single people and businesses all get more organized, not just in their physical space, but in their schedules, time management, efficiency, proficiency, all that combined. So tonight I want to just go, or I'm going to talk about, I have lots of notes here and I probably will forget all of them because I'll just keep talking and talking. But I hope that you will walk away from this workshop with some, not only some concrete ideas on how to start getting more organized in your life, but the reasons why organization can make your life so much better. So let's get started. Let's see. So I was going to do a little fun little thing that I love to do on these types of things. But is anybody else willing to put their video on? If not, that's okay. But this is what I love to do. I want you right now to go to your kitchen and find 2 mugs that you no longer need in your life and bring them back to the video and show everybody the 2 mugs that you are getting rid of. Because in 6 years, I have never had one client that didn't have way too many mugs. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to go get a couple of mugs and come back. Hi, soul models.
Hi.
Are you going to get a couple of mugs?
I am, but I did this for you not too long ago, so I don't know if I have any,
Okay.
but I'm going to try.
All right. I'm seeing Gina and Jane and Georgette and Marie, Teresa, Sarah, Andrea, and Andrea H. Hopefully, I'm going to believe in my heart that you're going to find 2 mugs right now. Nice. Nice job, Paula. Oh, Donna's back. Nice job, Robin. What does Betsy have? Did you find anything, Betsy? Nice. One of the reasons I love to do this, Vicki, nice job, proud of you. One of the reasons I love to do this little exercise is because people really struggle. Everybody, I myself, sometimes struggle with getting rid of things that we no longer use or love. Those are the 2 things that I like to think about when I'm thinking, what can I let go of? Do I use it and do I love it? You might not use something you love, or you might not love something you use. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Hi, Betsy.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
People give you things that you kind of feel like you have to keep around. Should they come over?
So here is my thought on this. I hope that it would become something more of a standard thing that people feel like if you give me something that I don't love, I would think that you wouldn't want me to have it in my life, right? I know that's challenging. It's definitely a challenging issue that all people have, including myself. I'll give you an example. I love the beach. I love long sands. I love the beach, and people know that. And so I get every single thing in the world beach related, like wooden signs and this and that. So I've kind of started to tell people I don't need any more beachy home decor. So I mean, kind of that's something along the lines of something you can communicate to your loved ones. You know, I don't love owls anymore. That was 40 years ago that I used to love owls. So you don't need to buy me owl stuff anymore. But yeah, that's definitely a struggle, Betsy, that everyone has. But you know what? You make yourself happy. And if they give you something that you don't like looking at all the time, if you feel the need to keep it for when they come over, tuck it away and then bring it back out. But you make yourself happy first. All right, moving on. Let's see. So everyone's done the mugs. We've done that. See, I just want to go through my notes or I just go off on tangents. I want to talk first of all about how organization can change your life. When we are surrounded by clutter, surrounded by things that aren't in their place, it doesn't help with our focus. It doesn't help with the overwhelm that we feel in life, because life is so overwhelming, so challenging at times. And if we can have a space that surrounds us that is calming and able to find what you need when you need it, it's just going to be something to reduce that overwhelm, to reduce that stress that we carry. You know, and just like anything that's worth having, it's going to take some time. It's nothing, you know, it's organization is, or being organized is a lifestyle. It's something that you have to do daily. It's systems and habits and routines that make up being organized. So if you can put things into, you know, create a system for different things in your life, you are going to get in the habit of keeping those systems up. And then you're going to reduce, you know, where looking for things, where are my keys? Where is this? Where is this? It's going to open you up to more time. It's going to open you up to more brain space to do things that you actually want to do. You can save money being more organized. I'll tell you, one of the biggest things that I see with clients is so many spices, because let me tell you why. If you're disorganized with your spices and you can't find your garlic powder, what do? You buy another garlic powder. And then a year later, when you can't find that one, you go buy another one. I have had a client with 11 garlic powders before that were all, the earliest one was from 1994. So this is what happens. And you can save money in a lot of ways by just being organized, knowing where things are, knowing how much you have of this, that, and the other thing. Okay. Has anyone ever heard of the term decision fatigue? It's kind of a new term out there, but it is absolutely so true if you think about it. We have to make a million decisions, tiny decisions, big decisions every single day. And the more that you can eliminate that decision making every day, which you can, again, the less overwhelmed, the less stressed you're going to be. Things like, see, I'm already going off my notes here, but we'll just see where we go. Here's a great example, like, and you're going to think that I'm crazy, but I pick out my clothes every night for the day before. No, every night for the next day, right? Now I don't time travel, don't worry. Because it's one less thing for me to think of in the morning. I have 2 teenage kids, but when they were toddlers, I would pick out their clothes for the week. I know, again, things sound above and beyond sometimes, but it seriously created a system for my kids and for myself that was so incredibly helpful, so time saving, until they were able to, you know, pick out their clothes for themselves. And, you know, we can talk at the end too, if you have kids, you know, everybody has different specific situations with their organizational issues. But, you know, there's solutions that we can find to any organizational issues that you have in your house. I wrote down another one, like gift wrap. You know, like, where does your gift wrap go? if you don't know where it is, you're going to just keep buying more. I've seen a lot of that. I've had a lot of clients connect with me because of relationship issues, because of clutter, and because of, you know, one person not doing their share, what, you know, so it's another thing that organization can relieve a little bit of as well. I mean, not everything, of course, but, you know, if it's one part of, I've had people who the female was like a hoarder and the guy was a minimalist, and they had a hard time. So it's about, you know, finding ways that both people can work together. All right, so I want to go over, these are like my top 5 just organizational tips in general, not specific things, just general things. First of all, we've already talked about this, like Betsy brought up. If you do not use it or do not love it, it's got to go. The guilt that we feel, like, you know, Betsy kind of mentioned, I really just truly believe, you know, if you have something in your home that doesn't make you happy, I don't think we need to necessarily worry about it. Let's let it go. If you don't have space for it, if it doesn't make you feel joy or happiness, you know, I give everybody permission to let it go. Okay. I say this a lot, you know, people equate their memories and people with things. And that's why it's hard to get rid of things a lot of the time. I have absolutely been like that in my life as well. You know, especially for, you know, loved ones that have passed and not wanting to let go, completely understand that. But we've got to think, you know, these things don't hold the memories and the love that we had with that person. And I'm not talking about getting rid of everything, but if you're having issues with your house being overrun by stuff, these are some of the things that, you know, we need to think about, that, you know, maybe we just reduce the amount of things that we're holding on to. All right, the second one is everything needs a system, okay? So if you think of your daily routine, your daily life, basically everything that you do really is a system, from the time you wake up, your morning routine, to, you know, where you keep your, you know, facial moisturizer and facial cleanser is easily accessible, to, you know, what's in your shower, for products and things like that, to where you store your towels. All of that is like a system that, if we are thoughtful about setting up systems for everything throughout our day, to, you know, hanging up your keys when you walk in the door at night, to where do you put your shoes, to just anything that you do in your day. If you take the time in it ahead of time to create these systems, you're going to save yourself so much time in the long run. Does anyone feel that? Yeah. You know, because people are like, I don't have time to get organized. I don't have time to create these systems. But what I tell people is, if you give that time, which it isn't as much time as you think, if you give that time up front, you're going to, for the long run, the long term, have so much more time open up to you, have so much less overwhelm and stress if we put this work in up front. You know, here's another one I get. Everyone always talks to me about this, and I'd love to see if anybody else has this issue. What do you do with your clothes that you wore one time and you can wear again before you wash it, but you don't want to put it back in your closet? Does everybody get that? Does anyone else, does anyone have an issue with that in their life? Yeah. Okay. So that is a system. I mean, if you think about it, like I'm saying, everything is a system. What do you do with that? Let's think about what is the best possible issue so that it's not stacked up 10 high on the chair in the corner of your bedroom, right? You know, and I can give a bunch of examples of things that you can do for that. And I will give a couple, but those are the things I'm saying that let's stop and take a minute to figure out what is the best solution to each of these system issues. For example, with that one, I have a space, and I don't have a very big closet, but I have a space in my closet to the left that is kind of for like in process clothes. That's what I call them. So that they're still away in my closet, but they're not like with my clean clothes over here. So that's just what I do. Because I don't want them piling up on my chair or, you know, on the floor or whatever it is. So that's what I do. All right. So let's see. I wanted to talk to, because organization has become such a popular thing, right? You see it all the time on social media, these beautiful, aesthetically gorgeous organizational photos and things like that. And first of all, you don't have to spend $1 million to get organized. I have done entire houses before with things from the Dollar Tree. And I've done things, the entire house from the Container Store. So there's a full spectrum of things that you can use at so many different levels. But I will say, you are more apt to keep up with maintaining organizational systems if it is aesthetically pleasing to you. It's a fact. You know, especially like if things are labeled where things go, it's like people don't want to break the rules. You know, it's like, oh, my sunglasses go here because it's labeled sunglasses. I need to put them here. So, you know, that is a big part of it for me. Some people say, you know, if they don't want to label, that's totally fine. I just do think sometimes it can help you to just be motivated, to keep you inspired to maintaining these systems that you've created. All right. Everything needs a system. All right, habits. So after you get all of your wonderful systems in place throughout your home, of your pantry and your laundry facility and where do your shoes go, now you have to create and practice the habits of putting things back where they go, right? I mean, that is such a huge part of being organized. Obviously, you've got to have a place for everything to go before you can keep putting it back there. So that's why you need to spend that time of like saying, all right, what am I going to do with all my records or all my books or whatever all my vases, you know, let's keep like categories of things together, and where can they all go so that you're not having like 2 vases under the sink and then like 2 here. So it's having a place and knowing where they go so that when you use the vase and clean it and put it away, it goes in that same place every time. And it just really truly helps with that, with clutter, with overwhelm, because you're putting things back where they go. They're not just sitting out because you're not quite sure what to do with it. All right. Let's see. One other thing I want to say about that too is, I don't know, I've heard this saying lately with, on social media of don't put it down, put it away. And that is such a good thing to think about with with everything. It's also been known as like the one touch method. So like you're not going back to something several times. Get it out of your brain. Like if I'm taking off this cardigan, instead of putting it on the chair, put it right away into the closet, into the system you've created for your in-process clothes. So you're cutting out that step of putting it on the chair, which is going to lead to more clothes on the chair, which is going to lead to it building up and stressing you out. And then you can't find your green cardigan. So do what I'm saying is get in the practice of doing things right away, putting things away right as you're done with them. And listen, I am not perfect. I am not expecting anybody else to be perfect, but these are just habits that we should, I don't want to should you, that we can try to create in our lives, because I'm telling you, it's going to make your life so much easier, so much more calm, so much less overwhelm and less stress about where things are and where things need to be. All right, the next one I want to talk about, number 4, is one of my favorite things to talk about, and it's called spatial boundaries. Has anyone ever heard of this term? It's one of my favorite terms. So let's say that you have an issue with how many things you have of one particular category, like mugs, like socks, like books, like sentimental items. You can create a spatial boundary with these things, which means saying, this is where my mugs go. And this is the only place my mugs go. And if they don't fit in here, I can't have any more. If you have, a space in your cabinet that holds 12 mugs, that's your spatial boundary. And you commit to that as how many mugs you can have, okay? That goes for like socks is one. Yeah. I know a lot of people with a lot of socks. So let's say I'm setting up their bureau. I have these drawer organizers that I love that have either 12 or 24 or 12, 16 or 24 kind of like cubbies, okay? And so say it's 24, you get 24 pairs of socks. And if you get a 25th pair of socks, what do you think happens? One's got to go. That is what a spatial boundary is. It just helps some people to kind of commit to having just what they need, not having excess of what they don't need. There's so many things that that spatial boundaries relates to. I talk to a lot of parents with young kids who have a ton of artwork, right, from school. And so many parents are so overwhelmed by how much artwork they have from their kids and what do they do with it, and they feel guilty throwing it in the garbage and da da da. And that can be a teaching moment for kids, because let's teach them early on that organization is good and that we don't have to hold on to everything. So have one bin per child of art stuff, and maybe once a month or every 3 months you go through it and choose things like, which one do you like better, this one or this one, so that this bin is the only place it can be. And if it gets full, we got to go through it and take some out. Okay, so that's all the spatial boundary stuff. But it can go with anything. It's a pact that you make with yourself to have less, by saying, this is my only space for this type of item. Another one too I want to talk about, if there's any parents here of young kids, a huge issue is toys, kids' toys. I just want to mention a couple things about that. First of all, when kids have too many toys, there can be a lack of focus and can be overwhelming to the kids, and has been shown by, and I have, what am I trying to say? Research that has shown that it can, hinder their imagination with having too many toys and too many options that they just go from one thing to another real quick. So I don't want you to feel guilty about if you don't have enough toys, which I have never seen in my life. But anyway, one thing that I love to do with people that have a ton of toys is to put some of the toys in what I have coined purgatory for toys, where you take like 30% maybe, I don't know, of the kids' toys and put them into a covered bin somewhere where the kid's not going to see them. And every 3-6 months, switch them out. The kid is going to be like, wow, look at all these new toys. Plus, you're not going to have so many toys out. And they're going to, learn to make do with the toys that they have out. So I love purgatory. All right. But make sure your kids don't find them, because you're going to be in big trouble. All right. So that was the end of number 4. There is a number 5, but I'm going to get back to that one at the end, because it's like the big one. So this is, I'm going to just go over my top 5 systems. If you only do 5 systems in your home, that'll make a huge difference in your daily life. These are my top 5. Again, I'm just one person's opinion, but this is what I think I see the most issues with, the timing and this, just holding people up. These are the top 5. So establishing a landing zone when you come into your home. Where do your keys go? Where do your coats go? Where do your kids' backpacks go? Shoes, umbrellas, leashes, poop bags, purses, lunch boxes, kids' paperwork, and mail, which mail is a whole nother system in its own. But if you can think about these things and have everything be thoughtfully determined where things will go, it's going to make a huge improvement in your daily life. I'm telling you, because think about the alternative. If you're coming in and everyone's just throwing their backpacks and kicking their shoes across the room, and then you can't find your keys, and then, this and that, your phone's going everywhere. So if you have that system in place, which could involve, obviously, coat hooks, along a wall, or a coat closet. I love to use like tall stackable cubbies with, labeled names on it. I love to use, they're called hanging shoe shelves. They're meant for shoes, but I use them in all different ways in my clients' homes. They're just perfect for, it's about this wide, and it's got like 10 cubbies about this long. Hopefully you can picture it, and it just hangs from like a closet rod. And something I love to do with that is each one of my kids has like a cubby for their hats and mittens or scarves. My husband does, I do. So everybody's got, this is where your hats and gloves and scarves go at the end of the day. And you can do that, that's the thing I'm saying, of being thoughtful about where is each thing going to go when you come in the door. Okay. Another thing too, paperwork that's coming home with your kids is always a big issue. So thinking about even having a wall in and out box is great. If you don't have kids, having something like that for just your bills or, you know, any paper that has an action item, that has an action that it needs, you know, you can think about having something like that on a wall as well. Trying to remove having things on countertops as much as possible is a huge thing. So we don't have a ton of clutter on our countertops and tables and things like that. So anything that we can get up on the wall or on the back of a door or inside a closet on the wall, let's take up as much of that, you know, valuable space as possible. Let's see. And of course, labeling stuff like that. I mean, if your kid were to come home and see a hook with Jack at the top, they're going to be psyched to put their jacket on that, you know? So don't forget to label stuff. All right. The next one I've already touched on a bit, it's mail. Mail is a huge issue for so many people. Does anyone have an issue with challenge with keeping up with their mail? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of people do, and this is what I have to say. And again, everybody's lives are different. Everybody's timing is different, but let's think of ways to create a system so that you can find the time to do it, so that it doesn't take more time in the long run. So what I'm saying by that is sort it if you can right away. Don't even put it down on the counter. Like, just stand by your trash can, stand by your recycling can, and just do a quick run through. Like, you know, you don't need this flyer, you know, you don't need this catalog or whatever it is, and get rid of the stuff, the junk, get rid of the stuff you don't need. Then, you know, things like bills, or let's just talk about bills. If you know, bring your bills, and where do they go? That's the system. Have a bill inbox. I love to, even if I have the time that day, I'll open up the bill, and with a red Sharpie, I'll write right on it. First of all, I want to say I only have a couple of bills because I try to do everything online, which is a whole nother thing we'll talk about some other day. But if you do have bills that are paper bills, open it and just write due whenever the date is, you know, March 1st, write in a red Sharpie, and that's your action, that goes in your action to do pile. Okay. Excuse me.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry. For mail that comes in that has like a shelf life, I guess, like coupons that you might use, but then they're going to expire, and you don't necessarily know that moment. Oh, am I going to go to Kohl's next week, or am I going to like wish I had this? But then they also tend to pile up. And do you have a system for those kind of like holding, or like papers from school that it's like, oh, there's an event coming up that I don't think we're going to participate in, but if I change my mind, I want to be able to have that paper to look at.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just today was looking at my Old Navy Super Cash, thinking, oh my gosh, did I miss it again? Because I'm always missing it, but I didn't. I have till March 6th. So yay me.
Put it in your calendar. That's what I do for those.
Yes, I do that as well. Yes, totally. With any coupons, I don't know why, I do still continue to go through that value pack that do you guys all get that? The value pack of coupons, and I'll go through them, and there's probably like the Dunkin' Donuts one I might take out, and I'll cut it so I don't have to carry the whole long thing. And I just do have a specific part of my wallet that I carry coupons in. Coupons go directly right to this spot of my wallet. If I put them on my fridge, in a drawer, anywhere else, I would never in a million years use them. So you just have to figure out where, you know, maybe you have an envelope that goes in your, what's it called? The mirror that drops down in your car? The visor, you know, like you could maybe you have an envelope and write on the outside coupons, and check it there. But I really think that for me, I've tried several different things with coupons, and just having a specific place in my wallet for coupons is the best. And plus there's a lot of like virtual things you can do with coupons nowadays. I mean, even the Old Navy one, you can, if you download their app, you can just show them your phone. So that's always worth looking into as well. Like, what things can I do digitally with coupons? With the things from paperwork from school, I'm just a big advocate of having a action item bin, inbox, anything like that, and writing on it. Like, if I were to just say this was like for a kid's school field trip, I don't know, visually it helps me so much to either put a sticky note or a red Sharpie and just write, need to sign and return by March 1st. If you can't do it right then, if your kid hands it to you and you can do it right then, great. But if you can't, say what the quick action is on the piece of paper is going to help you so much with that too, because you don't have to like read through it again. You can look at your quick note that you made and complete the task. Does that answer your question, Sarah?
Yeah, those are some good things. Yeah, I've tried a few different things. I tend to need it to have visual, but then I tune it out. So I've tried putting them on my door too, but sometimes I've ended up with having them not with me. And I don't carry a purse anymore, but I should probably, I might start again. I do in the summertime, but not in the winter. I just use my coat pockets. But,
like, what kind of coupons are there?
It's mostly Kohl's. It's not a ton. It's a lot of them don't have to be with me. They're more things that can stay home. But I tend to just let them pile up and then eventually ignore them. But then I feel like I need to go through it again before I throw it all away. So
right.
I don't. So
I mean, like you said too, have, if it expires on a certain date, have it pop up in your calendar and have it alert you a couple times before then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an idea. I think if you just create a habit of wherever they go and just keep practicing that habit, that's going to be helpful. And, whatever it is, should it be the envelope on the visor, or should it be a little bin right next to your door or in a wallet or whatever, and just keep practicing that habit. And I think it'll become more of like an unconscious thing that you'll do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The next one, what time is it? 7:43. So we're still on the top 5 systems that I think can change your life the most. Number 3 is a huge one that changed my life, which is meal planning and meal prep. I won't go too much into this because it's so different for everyone, and I'd love to talk to anyone about it more extensively after this. But it changed my life when I started meal planning years ago, on a Sunday, planning for the entire week, to do my grocery shopping on the Sunday, planning for the week. And so I was just ready to defrost something the night before, get the recipe out. I like the night, say I'm making a crock pot recipe on a Thursday. So Wednesday, I'll get, put my sweet potatoes on the counter, put my, canned tomatoes on the counter, put everything on the counter the night before with the recipe right there. So it's just easy, ready to go. Again, something I say all the time. And if I ever write a book, it's going to be called Your Future Self Will Thank You. And I think about that all the time now, because let's all live like that, right? Let's live in a way so that you're helping out your future self, right? So again, meal prep and planning, if you're not doing that, try it out for a week. It's so wonderful to like not have to get home from work at 5 or 6 o'clock and be like, what are we going to have for dinner? And then what that can tend to lead to is, I'm too tired, let's get takeout. let's order out, let's go out to dinner, and then you're spending money. It's not as healthy. You don't know, what's going into that. So meal planning was a huge thing in my life to change. So if that's something that you think might help you, I encourage you to give that a try. All right, so let's talk about clothes storage, which is usually a huge issue for a lot of people. I'm just going to give you like some bullet point ideas to think about changing both organizationally and aesthetically. Because like I said, I really believe if aesthetically something looks good to you, you will keep up with maintaining the organizational part of it more. Number one thing for me, for both organization and aesthetics for a closet, is matching hangers. I have to just show a client, and when I worked with the Portsmouth Public Library at the How To Festival, I was demonstrating this over and over again that day. I had a rolling, clothes rack, and I was just showing the difference to people of 20 different colored types of hangers, the same exact clothes, and then just switching them all to the same hanger. And it's just night and day. It's night and day how that looks aesthetically, how organized it looks. It's one of my biggest things. I love having matching hangers. It's a very inexpensive thing could be to do. I mean, obviously you can, hangers have a very wide price range. Everything from plastic hangers to wooden hangers to velvet hangers. I have bought, 200 velvet hangers at a time on Amazon for, maybe $50 or $60. And that might sound like a lot, but that's 200 hangers. And it's such a huge improvement. But I will tell you, I use white plastic hangers of my own, and I really like how it looks. I have, you want to buy kind of the little bit heavier dutier ones so they last. But anyway, we'll move on from that. But does anyone have all matching hangers?
Yes, I'm with you on the hangers.
Okay.
Totally. I like the slim fit. Walmart has like they're plastic, but they're slim with like rubber on the, those are the ones I like. I don't like the velvet because I hang a lot of wet stuff and I just always feel like the velvet, and it's all cotton. So I don't need the velvet. I don't wear much like silk or satin. And then I have white. My husband has black. My teenage daughter has teal.
Oh, nice. So, that's great. That's a great system too, to have everything have a different color.
It honestly started because I would gradually steal his hangers, inadvertently. So it kind of became its own limit of, if it's black, it's his hanger. And then magically we don't have issues with not one person not having any. Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that's cool to have everybody have a different hanger. I think that's a great system to have.
Oh, Paula just said she worries about the environment to get her own hangers. I'm really big on that too. And luckily, I mean, I haven't, since I've always bought white, I always have all white, so I haven't had to worry about that. But the thrift store I go to always wants hangers. So when I've had extra ones from stores, I've taken it to that. Or, if you give them away on like the free cycle or buy nothing groups, there's always people that are eager for free hangers. So
absolutely. Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe we're saying just moving forward, maybe right now we keep it the same, but moving forward, if you have to buy new hangers because they're breaking or whatever it is, then maybe moving forward, we can have the same matching hangers. And then maybe at some point it will, give away some hangers to some college student who doesn't care and, get yours to be all one color. Here's one of my favorite ones too. If anyone has tall, like knee high or calf high boots, is to go get pool noodles. I have pool noodles in all of my boots so that they stand up straight in my closet, because when they go over like that, it annoys me and I don't like how it looks. So pool noodles are like $1. You cut them up in thirds. So 2 of them will get you 3 pairs of boots for $2. So if you have tall boots and want them, they just take up less room too if they're standing up like that.
Abby, what do you think about putting wine bottles in them? Someone was telling me put wine bottles in your boots so they stand up straight.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, it's a great place to hide some wine for sure. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Or
like,
empty, like once you've drank the wine, then
oh, okay. That's even better. I like that better. Because I was thinking my boots are on the top of a closet and they're gonna like tumble down, and I can see that being a big old mess. But yes, that's a great idea.
Oh, okay.
I've tried all sorts of things. They have things on Amazon that like you clip to
I was
the
about to say that,
middle
yeah.
of the boots, and
Yeah.
they just never really worked for me. They still just tip over.
I don't really have boots, so I have the hangers. I haven't really used them on boots, but I've used them. I hang my chips in my pantry with those clips.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like a chip clip, but it keeps it, I don't like them on the ground, but if they're in a bowl, then people ignore
Right.
them and the bottom ones get crushed. So now we hang our
Yes.
chips in our
Oh, I
pantry.
love that. That's a great idea. You know, we could do a whole hour-and-a-half session just on folding clothes because it's such a hot topic for people. Some people are like, how dare you hang a pair of jeans? Some, you know, everybody has very strong opinions, I have found, on what should be hung and what should be folded and how to fold things. I personally, with a lot of my cotton, like leggings, tank tops, certain, you know, t-shirts that I like to have in my bureau, I roll everything because it takes up the least amount of space. And if you travel, it's the absolute best way to travel with clothes by rolling them because it takes up the least amount of room in your suitcase. And it keeps things less wrinkly if you roll them properly. So again, something to think about, like what would work best for you? You know, this whole conversation we're having tonight could all boil down to, let's just stop and think about the systems that we have or don't have or need to change. Because if we take a little bit of time to either create them or fix them, it's going to just really impact our whole lives in the long term. Okay. Okay, this is a great one too. This is the last one under systems that can change your life. Put a donation bin, box, bag in every closet, in every clothes closet. Okay, something, if you have the space, only if you have the space, I think a great idea is to just have a separate hamper, and you can even line it with a trash bag so that when you take something off of a hanger and put it on and it's got a hole and you're not, or whatever it does that you're not going to mend it, or it doesn't fit, or you don't love it, it doesn't, because everybody no longer wear clothes that don't make you feel great. Okay. So if this article of clothing that you pull out doesn't work for you in your life anymore for some reason, I want you to put it right in that donation bin right away. Don't hang it up again. Let's purge it. Let's continue to purge it. So what you would do is you just keep that bin in there, and once it's full, pull out that bag or however you have it set up, put it right in your car to bring to your favorite local thrift store or Salvation Army or Goodwill or one of those yellow boxes or whatever. I think it's a great thing to always have going in your home is a donation bin. I also have one in my basement. If I'm, looking for something and I find this thing and I'm like, oh, I'm never going to use that again, right in the donation bin. When the donation bin gets full, I pick it up, bring it upstairs, put it right in my trunk, and the next day go drop it off wherever is the most, the best place to bring whatever I have. Okay. And always too, I want to say, because I work with a lot of thrift stores with all the donations that I take from my clients. And I'm just going to throw this in as a PSA of saying, be really thoughtful about what you donate. A lot of, we don't want to donate anything that is stained or ripped or doesn't work, because that's just something that the thrift stores have to deal with, and it can become kind of a issue with their business. So just wanted to throw that out there for the.
There's some of them do take it for textiles recycling, but I've heard some places will, but it's good to label it. So like if you have a whole bag, you just label it as like recycled textiles. That way they don't spend their man hours going through it to realize it's all junk.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, just communicate with your thrift store. I mean, I all the thrift stores in Kittery, I have relationships with all the people, and I just will say, do you want this? Will you take this? I mean, it's just give them a call and ask them. I mean, obviously if it's just a bag of clothing, you're not going to say 1, 2, 3, do you want this, this, this? But if everything in there is in good, fair quality, that's going to be okay. But and like Sarah said, if it is, maybe your thrift store will take things that aren't in such great shape for other purposes. All right.
So, Vicki, I have a follow-up question about choosing thrift stores.
Sure.
So, and I agree with you about being thoughtful about it. What if the items are like, I know we're on clothing, but what about items that one can't carry oneself or that are specific? How do we find the best place?
Yeah.
For
big furniture
to rehome.
Okay, so first of all, my first thought is Facebook Marketplace. I do tend to use that quite a bit, but I don't love for people to come to my home. So if it is a furniture type item, that can be difficult. I do know of a couple thrift stores, even in the area, that will come and pick up things from your house if you can't get it out. But it's kind of like if they want it.
Yeah.
So you could do Facebook Marketplace. You got to remember with Facebook Marketplace, my personal feeling is it can be a lot of time and energy to sell things on Facebook Marketplace. So is it worth it?
Right. And I would want to donate. And so I'm not on Facebook.
Okay.
I know you don't have to be on Facebook to do Facebook Marketplace. And that's something and so whatever I have would likely be free, even if it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's just that I can't
get it there.
Call the city to have them pick it up for bulky waste because it's too nice to go in a landfill. So right. Actually part of the dilemma I have with donation, I'm getting better at letting things go, is where to go. The super cool, pair of the footwear of my daughters, for example, where I say, well, I could take it to Goodwill, but it just goes in that bin with all the other not so nice stuff. Yeah. And is anybody ever really going to, see that they've got this fantastic
beautiful pair of shoes
piece? Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it may sound a little overboard, but I think it's just getting to know your local thrift stores. I mean, when I think of, there are different kind of genres of thrift stores, like Fabulous Find in Kittery. They're a little bit more, high-end type of items, things like that. I think the main thing to think about when donating stuff is, where is the money going?
Fabulous Find is good for that because they will tell you where this month's, proceeds are going.
Yeah. I mean,
I have an idea too, actually, for the furniture stuff, is to list it for sale and put like a really reasonable price, like not free, but a reasonable price, and then just donate the money that they pay you for it, or let them take it for less. Because when you post a piece of furniture for free, everybody jumps on it. Like there's so many people that they just want free stuff, and then half of them don't follow through. Like there's always a reputation of people not following through when it's posted for free. Like, but if you post like a reasonable price, that is the people who are actually looking for and wanting that item, who are hopefully going to be a little more reliable. It kind of improves the, and then you can always give it to them for less, or, you know, donate whatever they pay you for it, or whatever feels right.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
It's definitely whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, if you have a conversation with somebody that you feel comfortable coming into your home to pick up for you, to donate or to take or whatever, there are thrift stores that have trucks. That I know that I always get Rising Tide and Fair Tide confused. Fair Tide, they will, like Barbara, who's the manager at Fair Tide, I'll call her and be like, could you use a bureau today, and can you come pick it up? And they have done that for me in the past. So it's just something to just call around and ask your local thrift stores if they are able to pick up anything. I think that's one of your best bets. Okay, and again, to knowing where these thrift stores are giving their money is very important to me. That's why I try to donate as much as I can to local thrift stores throughout the whole seacoast. Wherever I am working with a client, I'll just go to a small local thrift store that I know that gives back to their community.
Yeah, and then I know that the plug for the library, I think it's still ongoing, where they have outerwear, winter outerwear. I thought I'd missed the window for donating some nice pieces of outerwear, but I think this month they're still having the bring it in, and look, you could find something for yourself, or you could bring something in for somebody else.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, any chance we can have, to donate things that are going to go into the right hands always feels great. Plus, it's getting out of your life, which is always good too.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to say a few of my favorite organizational tools. Of course, my number one is right here. It's my label maker. I bring it with me everywhere. I'm big into labeling things just because, again, a place for everything and everything in its place, and always knowing where that is, and not just you, but everybody in your household as well can know where things go. We've talked about a key hook, and I use a key hook in very, very different ways in my home. I'm going to say I don't see any men in here, so they won't care. But my favorite way to use a key hook is for my bras. I have a key hook inside my closet, and they just hang. And because I tried everything to store my bras, and it was driving me crazy. They just don't fit well in a drawer. And I tried, things that were especially made for storing bras, and I didn't love any of them. And a key rack inside your closet to hang your bras is my favorite thing ever. Just even things like a rubber band or a binder clip can change your day. I mean, instead of fumbling around for something to, close up a bag of whatever, put a rubber band around it. Just everybody start collecting all their rubber bands from all their veggies. That's what I do. From asparagus, those are the best rubber bands. So start holding on to those. They can be used in so many ways. All right, 8:04. We're almost done, and then we'll do a Q&A. I just wanted to say about organizing, how to start. People are like, how do I start organizing a space? And for the majority of spaces, you're going to kind of follow the same outline, which is remove everything from the space. Let's say we're talking about a pantry or a closet or a closed closet. I know it sounds awful, but I want you to clear that entire space, because first of all, you want to clean it and have a clean slate so that you can look at this empty space and say, how can I rework this to fit my needs right now? And with having things in there, it's a little bit more challenging. Plus, taking everything out gives you that opportunity to, number 2, sort and purge. So you want to take everything out, sort everything into like categories. Again, I'm still thinking, like, say it's a pantry, putting all baking supplies together, putting cereals together, putting soups together, canned goods, beans, just sorting everything like a grocery store, checking expiration dates if it's food, and then seeing how much you have of everything, because then you're going to be able to look inside your clean space and see how it can best go back into the space in an organized way. Of course, there's different supplies and tools that I use to make it a space easier, accessible, and to, corral different things in your pantry or closet. But yeah, so removing everything from the space, sorting everything into like categories, getting rid of things that either don't belong in that space or you don't need anymore. You find, you can look inside somebody's cabinet and find all sorts of things. So if you are in somebody's, plates and cups cabinet and you find a hammer, that doesn't necessarily belong there. So let's think, where should that go? Where should that live? Okay. Something I talk about a lot with clients is thinking about their prime real estate of storage. If you only use something once or twice a year, you don't need it in your prime real estate, in your cabinets, in your kitchen. Like seasonal stuff, for example. Excuse me. Keeping that seasonal stuff in a bin, in a storage area somewhere, in a closet, so that it's not taking up that valuable space in your kitchen and creating that clutter. Again, with things that don't belong in a kitchen, let's remove them. Let's find another new home for them so that they're not adding to the clutter of, whatever space you're working with. Okay, and I had written down, you can do the same thing in a clothes closet. Clothes that you would only wear every so often, put them towards the sides, towards the back, where you just have the things that you wear the most right up front, right at eye level, easy accessible, less stress, less hassle. I talk about short, medium, and long-term storage a lot. And that's kind of along the same lines of what we're talking about, which is, short-term things, meaning used every day or weekly. Medium, I say, is used at least once a quarter. Long-term is used less than once a quarter. So if it's only used twice a year, it doesn't belong in your prime real estate, meaning your cabinets, your drawers in your kitchens, the front of your closet. Okay, so just something to think about when you're organizing. When you create systems, I want you to use the systems that you create for at least a week or two and try to get in the habit of this new system before you either stop doing it or change it. We want to, see how it works. See how we, because we gotta, what do they say? 21 days to create a habit. So that's all about organization as well. Organization is just lots of habits going on. So, and I'll tell you, everybody always asks me, yes, my house is very organized, but I still am constantly changing systems because I'll go, oh, this would work better. It's never a one and done. It's a continual thing. It's a daily thing to be organized, putting things back where they go, you know, changing something up if it's not working for you anymore. But find the fun in it. It doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, I got to organize that again. You know, you can find a new and better way to have it be organized. All right, so we're back to we're on my last thing before Q&A, and I just wanted to say that you know, and I've touched on this a little bit, none of us are perfect. I am not perfect. I don't want anyone to think that, you know, to have any shame or have any bad feelings about themselves on the state of their home, the state of their closets, the state of their pantry. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Life is challenging. Days go by like that. And so I just don't want anyone to feel that. It's baby steps. You know, it's like a little bit maybe each day, you know, just saying, okay, I am going to start putting my keys on the key rack this whole week, and have that be just the one little thing you do. So organization, like I've said, it's just a way of life. It's a choices that you make every day, to know, to really believe that these choices that you're making will take weight off your shoulders. I've seen it with myself. I struggle with anxiety, and I have seen how being organized and being, you know, efficient with my time can make me just feel so much more at ease and in control. I have really benefited myself, and now through clients that I've been able to help, seen how much it can really change your life on the daily basis. So that's all I've got. So we have about 15 minutes or so to do some Q&A, and I would love to hear any questions that you have for me on your specific organizational issues, if you have any. Nobody? All right, well, I guess I talk a lot.
This is Vicki. I have one, and
Okay.
and I guess again, my main focus is, I think I have some pretty good systems in place, but it's just the, I'm at the stage of life where I'm doing, where our home was the repository for everyone and everyone's things. And some people are now not with us anymore. And it's very hard to, so say like your child's, you know, your child's homework, the paper plate that was made into a tree topper 50 years ago.
Right.
I've worked through that. But there are some other pieces where I feel like, oh, I'm forgetting them, I'm dishonoring, I'm not exactly sure how to go through the decision process for letting things go with respect.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I struggle with that. My dad passed away 5 years ago, and I struggle with that myself, with that, or with other people, and with clients I work with every day struggle with that. So know that you're not alone in that. I just always go back to, your love is not tied to that item. Your love is tied to your heart and that person. And I just think they wouldn't want you to have, they love you. They don't care about things anymore. I don't know. That's the way that I look at it. And that's the way that I, you know, try to work through with my clients on things like that. Again, we can go back to spatial boundaries, which is having a sentimental box. You know, maybe it's a 50-gallon Rubbermaid box, and that's, you know, your huge spatial boundary, whatever you need to do.
That's a good start.
Right, exactly. And just, you know, saying, I don't know, I can have 3 things, you know, maybe 3 things from this person, and what is most meaningful, or, but I think just talking kindly to yourself about knowing that you are doing nothing wrong by getting rid of things that you do not use or love in your life.
Thanks, Abby.
It's definitely challenging. I definitely get it. But again, like anything, it's just something we need to practice. And, you know, this is why I'm so passionate about organization, because everybody holds so tightly to our things. And then you're carrying that around with you. You know, you're carrying this around with you. Like, I don't want this in my house, but I feel bad getting rid of it.
I know. I have 3 blenders. One was from my brother's place and he's died. And then one was my husband's and mine that we kept at our special little, you know, our little place in Kittery.
Yeah.
And then I have the one that my sister-in-law left behind.
Yeah.
So it's just a funny story.
Well,
I've got 3 blenders and I have to pick one. I know I have to pick one.
Well, and reframe it in your brain too, to think like, how psyched is somebody else going to be to get this cool blender?
Yeah, that's true. Because they're all working. I wouldn't donate them if they weren't working.
Absolutely. Well. Right. So you keep the best one, whichever one you like the most. And then just think to yourself, somebody that really needs a blender at a good price is going to get one, and feel good about that.
And then I think also it's helpful to expect to regret some things and be okay with that. So it may be that you donate the blenders and then the one you keep does die. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I got rid of 2 that, and I kept the one that died. Now I have to buy one, and you'll be really mad at yourself, but like kind of knowing that might happen and that's okay. And that it's still worth it because now you don't have 3 blenders anymore. But,
Right.
you know, like kind of like front loading so that like not letting yourself focus on the regret, because that'll keep you from moving forward.
It's so true.
That's true.
And I will say too, like, I would love to talk to you, Vicki, on the day after you donate those 2 blenders, because I'll tell you right now, you're going to feel a weight off your shoulders, because you're going to be like, okay, I don't have to think about that anymore. I don't have to wonder if I should feel guilty about that anymore. They're out of my life. He's out of my life, you know, the blenders. So,
all right. It's good practice. Thank you.
And it's good too. I always love to tell my clients, I'm giving you permission to let those go. Okay.
I have a tip as a hoarder, because I'm like totally struggle so bad giving stuff away, is that I have to find a place that makes me feel good to give it. So
yes,
I was just giving away bridesmaids dresses and I was really stressed out about it. So one thing I did is I took a picture or found a picture of myself in the dress with the bride. And so I made sure that I had the memory and the picture of the dress. And then I found an organization that gave dresses to girls in the Seacoast area that can't afford prom dresses. And so for me, that felt good. Like, I didn't feel good giving it to Goodwill, because then I felt sad that maybe someone was going to like use it as like an ironic shitty Halloween costume, and it like didn't make me feel good. Right. And then I wanted to hold on to it. So I could hold my picture and I could think about a girl that can't afford a prom dress. And then I felt okay doing it. But like, you have to find the place that like, or at least for me, I have to find the place that resonates, that I feel good about getting rid of it. I don't know if that's helpful.
No,
I agree.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a nice job.
And I mean, that can be, like I was saying, you know, to have communication, you know, if you're struggling to let something go, to have communications with different organizations that take stuff, and say, you know, could you use 2 blenders? You know, I work with this woman in, I always forget, I think it's in Sanford, Maine. And she runs a nonprofit that is all for people in crisis. So she has a small store type thing, and everything is free. And like, say your house burned down, or, you know, just transitions, or, you know, things like that, different scenarios, you can just go shopping there and everything's free. And so I just absolutely love, you know, giving that to her, because I know that the people that get these things are going to really be grateful to have them because they've lost everything, you know. So household stuff, I love giving there. Again, just taking a little bit of time, if it's something that bothers you, to look into. If it doesn't bother you and you want to just drop it off at a yellow box, that is absolutely fine too.
Oh, that I could do.
There's
I mean, that's the hard part for me, because there are items that, as with the bridesmaid dresses, where it's just, I want this to be in the hands of somebody who needs it or wants it and finds it useful or finds it lovely.
Right. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second on that, because I absolutely love Carrie's idea of doing that. But if you don't have the bandwidth or the energy or the time to do that, I just think if it's going into a yellow bin, let's just assume that somebody who needs it is going to get it, right? Yeah. Let's assume the best, because why not? You know, wherever you donate it to, let's just assume that somebody's going to get it that really needed it at that, you know, cheap price at a thrift store. Because I don't want anybody, life is challenging, life is busy. I don't want my clients, and I don't want people to start adding another thing to their plate of overwhelm of, where am I going to donate this thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if the best you can do is dropping it off at a yellow box, that's incredible, and yay for you.
And
Okay?
think good karma. Just think good karma.
Absolutely.
All right.
Exactly. You're putting out something good into the world, and it's not your responsibility to feel any guilt or any bad feelings about where it's going to end up. That's what I think.
They're going to enjoy it just as much as you would have. They're going to enjoy it just as much.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also just list in the chat box, put the Homeless Center for Stratford County is often looking for furniture. And so is just today Hope on Haven Hill, which is a recovery home.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But yeah, so if you're not on Facebook, Hope on Haven Hill or Homeless Center for Stratford County are both places that are frequently looking for items.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And since this is through the Portsmouth Library, if anyone, I just dropped off 4 winter jackets. They're doing a jacket, hat, mitten, scarf scenario. They're taking all those for people in the community. So plug for the Portsmouth Library.
Yeah. Yay, Portsmouth Library.
Yay.
Anybody else have any questions? Got a few minutes left. All right. I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. It just made me so happy. I have been out of commission actually for a while due to COVID and some health issues that I was having, and I've been back for the last couple months, and this is my first, I do these things quite a lot, and this is my first one after a while. So you guys were all awesome, and I really appreciate you being here. I am on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and God help me, TikTok. Which
I was gonna say TikTok.
I haven't started it yet, but I am learning. So it's just like one of those things that you just got to do nowadays, I guess. So I'd love for you to follow along with me. I give like inspiration, motivation, tips on, getting and staying organized, and also just telling you to give yourself a break sometimes, because we all need to do that more.
You're the reason I have friction erasable pens in my home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you posted about them a long time ago. Yeah.
Yes, those are a dreamboat.
Yes.
I just got 3 white ones. I don't know, see them? These are erasable pens. And I have tried every single brand of erasable pen there is. And the brand is Frixion. It's Frixion. And it is the best, because I don't love writing with pencil, and I'm old school and I still use a paper planner. And so I love these pens just really for using in my planner.
The only caution with them is don't leave them in a hot car because the ink can disappear if you leave it in a hot car for a really long. Yeah, I'm in a Facebook group that talked about it, and but if that happens, put it in the freezer, and sometimes it'll come back.
Sarah, you're just full of good information.
Random useless information.
Can you come work for me? I need you.
Well, and I noticed, I opened a box tonight, and I noticed it said of the color sticks, and it says on the back of the packaging, it warns you not to be, not recommended to use on legal documents because it can disappear.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Don't use it for anything important, but use it in your planner to write down what day you're going to be bringing your stuff to a thrift store.
Actually, I have those pens. I just discovered them. So, and I use a paper planner. I confess.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
It's actually a bullet journal group that talks about them a lot because for bullet journaling.
Mention bullet journaling.
Oh yeah. I've talked to the Portsmouth Library about, doing future presentations about all different kinds of topics that I work with people on about, time management and efficiency and scheduling and all that stuff too. So hopefully, down the road that will be a thing. But until then too, if you would like to, talk to me more, potentially, work together, I would love to talk to you. You can always email me at help@abstractassistant.com. Or like I said, I'm on all the social medias, so you can just go there and message me as well.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Abby.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.